Welcome to the first episode of TribeX. TribeX is an event series that transforms knowledge and ambition into action. The main idea behind this is to strengthen the Tampere startup community by exchanging key learnings. The target audience is entrepreneurs, startup founders, investors, and advisors. This is the fifth series of TribeX, and we are back as an online series and official pre-event of Silicon Vikings Startup World Cup Finland 2020. This event is a collaboration between Tribe Tampere and Tampere ES, supported by Business Tampere.
Hello everyone, I'm Lakshmi, the project lead for TribeX. When we look a decade back, startups were something very rare. We had this very few people who wanted to do something different than their regular job. They were willing to risk to make their idea go big. Fast forward, now when we look beyond the 20s, startups are the mainstream. Added to that, there is a rise in the number of accelerator and incubator programs, angel investors, VCs, public fundings, and many other platforms to support the startups all around the world. As a result, we have nearly 100 million businesses launched every year. That makes it about 3 startups per second. Isn't that quite a good progress for the decade? Well, it is. But the real question here is, how many of these can cross the success line? What differentiates a regular startup and a successful startup? And also now, it's the time to have purpose before action. So how do we go forward in the new decade? This was something we wanted to address at this year's TribeX under the title Startup 2020, the New Decade, the New Learning. Quite a fascinating topic, isn't it? Well, if everything had gone as per the plan, I wouldn't have been here in front of the camera recording, but be part of a Startup Day mega event here in Tampere, Finland. The current pandemic situation has created a global standstill. Its effect is felt much stronger in the entrepreneurial community. Maybe even stronger than the 2008 Great Recession. Maybe it's also because of the way the startup ecosystem is today than before. Well, that's a speculation, or maybe we can just disregard as some thinking. So we figured out we had to strengthen the ecosystem by exchanging key learnings from the experienced now than ever before. And also it is known that willingness to adapt to the changes is the way forward to fight for the future. Hence, we have decided to adapt and bring the TribeX as an online series. At this point, I would take the opportunity to thank Business Tampere, Tribe Tampere, and Tampere ES, without whom this wouldn't have been possible. We believe that when experience and ambition is brought together, it can change the world. After all, this is TribeX.
Our next speaker is Tommi Rasila, partner of Boardman Oy. He is a serial entrepreneur and board professional with a background of working in the electronics, software, and cyber industries. Skilled in strategic thinking, innovation management, business models, digitalization, and cybersecurity with good analytical and negotiation skills. The topic of the keynote is crisis management and courage. Let's please welcome Tommi Rasila.
Hello, my name is Tommi Rasila. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a board professional from Tampere. Also, I'm a doctor of technology from Tampere University of Technology. And I am here today to tell you something about courage and crisis management when it comes to startup venturing. We're living very interesting times now, challenging times, and there's lots of uncertainty. But we should always remember that good times and bad times, they come and go. I started my working career in the 80s, and I've seen the three major downshifts in economy, recessions, if you will. In early 90s, then again the dot-com bubble crashing in about 2000, and then the financial crisis of 2008. So now we're again facing some very challenging times, but again, they will pass and we will survive. I'll basically have like maybe three teachings to tell you today. And first of them is that, when there's a crisis ahead, you'll survive. Just make do with what you have and you'll get through it. I'll tell you a little bit of a story regarding Inject, which is a medtech company founded in 2010. And if you think that things are moving slowly and you need to do all kinds of, stuff and there's lots of challenges, try medtech. Try medtech, That's very, very, very challenging, and 10 years and we're still not in the market. Now we do have this magnificent smart needle which knows where its tip is. The original idea is more than 10 years old, and now at the moment I'm the chairman of the company, and we are now trying to get ourselves to the market in the end of this year. But we were actually going to the market already like first quarter 2019, and we were working towards it very heavily on fourth quarter 2018. We were raising our Series A funding. We were in process with the notified body TÜV Süd in Munich, Germany, and we had a team was we had a magnificent team up and running, and everything was fine until stuff just started hitting the fan. So first of all, after 6 months, the notified body noted that our clinical trials are not adequate. That was because they had been done like 2 years earlier according to the MDD, Medical Device Directive of European Union. But because some guys did crazy things, for instance in France, these regulations needed to be updated, and now we are entering MDR, Medical Device Regulation, and that means that it's no longer enough to prove that the device works. You also need to prove that it's beneficial, which was originally not necessary and therefore not designed into our clinical trials. So it means that, okay, not back to the drawing board, the unit was working, but we needed to prove it. So we needed to do more clinical trials, which of course means that we're not going to market on first half of 2019, which means that you could say goodbye to the Series A funding and everything we had done so far, which means that we are basically running out of cash in 6 months or so. Well, like in TV shopping, that's not all. There's more. You see, on 27th November, our CEO died. I got news from the widow in the morning that Rami Lehtinen, Doctor of Technology, Rami Lehtinen, our CEO, very able and great guy, had passed away abruptly, at home. Anyway, it's not very nice to write an obituary to somebody who has born same year as you have, I can tell you that. And then, to top it up, our landlord, we were in this very nice building in Hervanta, where we had clean rooms shared by the owner of the building, who is a very successful company, but they are so successful that they were growing more and they needed the premises. So their chairman called me and said, Tommi, we would need the premises where you are because we need more room. So when would you be out from here if we agreed now? So that was the story in the end of 2018. So that's like Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Well, Luckily, most of December I was kind of dizzy because I had a slip disc on 5th of December. So I had so much medication that, that made it a little bit easier for me. But everything then changed after the new year because we needed the rest. We rested for December, we rested over the holidays, and then in January, basically, we rolled up our sleeves and we started working. The whole team. I mean, team, owners, founders, board, everybody needed just to cope with this, stay calm, like the Queen of England said, keep calm and carry on. So what we did starting in January 2019, first of all, we had a very big stroke of luck because a company went bankrupt. Fit Biotech, which was a stock listed company, they went bankrupt, and we got this chance to invade their premises in Tampere University Hospital campus with 100 square meters of prime condition clean room. Magnificent. Somebody's bad luck is fortune for somebody else. We hired new CEO, Ilari Antila, also born the same year as me and Rami, curiously. He's very experienced, and he joined us then in June, actually. But, it took a while. We just couldn't hire anybody in, first quarter because our situation was so uncertain. But anyway, as soon as we were able to hire, we hired Ilari, and he's there now, and he's at the helm of the company and doing very well. Also, we made our successful crowdfunding round. We had done once, 2017, and believe it or not, we made it again in 2019, and our investors, those who invested then, they still believed in us. They figured, hey, you have lots of bad luck, but you've done good job, so just, do it. And many of them invested more, and we had more investors as well. So on top of those 600 plus investors, we now have more than 1,000 shareholders. And our clinical trials are now underway in Tampere, Helsinki, and Turku University hospitals. So basically, in 6 months, on first whole half of 2019, Inject came out clean, and we're doing all right now. So the message is, no matter how bad it looks, you'll survive. Just stick together, make a plan, go by the book, go by the plan. And, I think, this is, I guess you could call this a crisis, really. Okay, second thing. Now, when things are haywire and everybody seems to be like, crisis, 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 now is actually a very good time to act, to prepare for the future. I founded Sample Systems together with another guy, Juha Kuusama, in September 1993. And that was the time when everybody had been in recession for a while. And Finland was not the place where you should put together an electronics high-tech company and something and blah, blah, blah. But that's just exactly what we did. Then, a couple of years after that, the situation was that economy was booming. Nokia made it very clear to everybody in the world that Finland is the place for high-tech electronics, and DVD players came to the market. And we were doing DSP multi-channel audio. We started actually, our idea was to sell these prototyping tools, development tools to professional audio manufacturers. But actually our product then found its way inside the home theaters. So actually it was consumer electronics. It was not professional audio, but consumer electronics manufacturers around the world. And at that time, we were in Finland, and some people in Finland figured that Finland is a desolate place, it's a faraway place. But actually, when you look at the globe, it's like, if you try to find, if you're somewhere in here, you're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of oceans. And guess what? What's exactly on the opposite side? That's Finland. So Finland is actually, as long as you can get from middle of nowhere, which means that it's actually center of the world, right? Besides, even then, in 1995 or so, world was very well connected. we're still very well connected. It doesn't really matter. Very soon, planes are going to fly again, and now we're even more accustomed to all this teleconferencing and everything. So distance has less and less meaning. So just go for it. Of course, now we also see that globalization has its flip side as well, because now we're all suffering from this. But that's also sort of consolating. You're not the only one, and we are not the only ones suffering from this crisis or any recession. So now it's good time to start planning for future, because when the economy goes up again, you want to be ready. You want to be ready there to ride that wave. Okay? Then third one, seek for assistance. Seek for people who are experienced. And that comes back also to board work. I served 10 years in Tampere Chamber of Commerce and then Finland Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber of Commerce, they offer very good program, certified board member or hyväksytty hallituksen jäsen, HHJ in Finnish. And I've written the book with two other guys. And basically, if you're like young, and all of you founders are young and engineering minded, then get some more experienced guys from other professions, from other branches, take different nationalities and whatever you will, because that will bring robustness to your board. And also there's people like me having already seen like 3 major recessions. So this is the 4th one. It makes it easier then, because there's people who can also see the other side of the story, and there's more lots of benefits in that. But that's one way to look for experience. And remember, when you think about the board, don't just think who do we know who are like available, because that's wrong way to find the best brains in there. But think, what do we need? What do we lack? And then start finding from LinkedIn and from your networks who might bring that kind of experience to help you in this growth and all these challenges that you're facing. And you might be surprised when you asked basically for their help. It's like, look, we think that we have these challenges and we need this kind of experts, and we think you have this. Could you come and help us with this? Like, would you join our board? They might very well do, especially if you have a good story which they want to join. So that's it from me. Like I said, remember, good times come and go and crisis times come and go. Face them and just pull through. Second, now is a good time to start. Now it's a good time to think about the future. Prepare for the good times. And third, seek for experience, because with good people, with good team, with some assistance, you can recover from any kind of situations and prepare for the big ride you have ahead of you. Okay. Thanks for your attention and keep safe.
Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Also, don't forget to check the Startup World Cup Finland series on this channel. The winner of the pitching event goes to San Francisco to compete for $1 million. Finally, don't forget to check out other episodes of TribeX on our channel.